Mahama since the South Ghana ha hated video be the Bible to about here. The IP address ebe the IP address ebe show ba show.
National Signals Bureau now has the technology to use your IP number and find you wherever you are. So I'm sending a signal to Ghanaians that we can find you those doing those hate speech and things. We'll use your IP number, we'll trace you.
And I feel so Kasafa Ghana City.
Rise in the value of the city. People were asking whether it will go below 10. And I said, it is dropping, but it will find its true value. It was undervalued at 16, and it probably is overvalued at 10. But somewhere between there, we have the real value of the city.
And I was Kasafa excavators.
With regards to excavators, we're enforcing the law that you must get the permits before the excavator is put on a ship. That is what the law has been, but it was not followed.
I feel we should stay with us and then let's walk you through these stories. Welcome back to Afropulse TV. We're some for slide and we are back. Yasian Batisasa, Siaba and Taban, we will not get rings. TJ platform is here. You know what's about to go down. Intino say be I may see any of our videos intino. Say never soon I first time our chance upon us. Now if you the bell notification at on. Now if you want subscribe to Afropulse TV now if video be able drop piano, ube your notification no on air cost off and then on media and seminar. I was when him say on the 10th of September, John Dramani Mahama or engaging media. Aye, on in media for echo engage. Could be said beside questions and school ye no come. No in send bebre and a cotuga or that particular program now acquire and I say. Information about Taban since excavators about the good ports. Now, NDC for no. Omo person omo first excavators don't come illegal operators and as I got them say for intino or more transport excavators no anadrop and no more deco. Abusia Mahama Baba clarification ewa or say size excavators now more transporting and adjuning it is because of traffic. Because unzes our cars no a casa kesi na cars are transport excavator a low bed. And this excavators 15 and a port. Now say ye baby deliver all these excavators into ye didn't baby low bed so into ye didn't baby low bed so near that transport yakwa would you want to just imagine the kind of traffic a low bed room ever cause or so and into no share I say or more transport no anadro na heavy crown before I'm back transport excavator biano or make sure say nipan will register bibia a minim nipa air con ho and I from better the tracker and forcing out bohun into baby excavator and be biano omunim say ko illegal operator phobia or make na imporo minus for more grand hanum na or me registered or mukita certificates near the island or nyina or import excavators Anglo Gold Asante or me import excavators what you say I for Asanko mines or nyina or me import excavators into be import excavators or mo mpene money pano and deliver on daytime because of traffic and safety of the roads nti abuja dey things my excellency John Dramani Mahama okay.
With regards to excavators, we're enforcing the law that you must get the permits before the excavator is put on a ship. That is what the law has been, but it was not followed. And so they let the excavator land before they come and ask the Ministry of Transport for a permit. And so we've informed all the dealers that you cannot load an excavator onto a ship until you have gotten a permit. In the meantime, a lot of excavators have arrived at the port. And recently, somebody said they were being released at midnight to their owners and things. That's not true. What happens was there were so many that they had occupied a huge area of the port and congested the port. And so we found the land near Shy Hills, near the military installation. And the Field Engineers Regiment and others have been given charge to move the excavators from the port to that area so that they can free up space in the port. And they do that in the night because of traffic in the daytime. So in the night, they have the payloaders moving the excavators out of the port to the designated areas where they are supposed to be held. And before any of those excavators is released, they must be tracked. They must have a tracker on them. They must be registered by the owner of the excavator, and we must know the purpose for which the excavator has been imported. because the construction industry also imports excavators. And so you cannot put a blanket ban on importation of excavators just because you think that every excavator is going to go into the illegal mining industry. Even the big mining companies that have licenses import excavators. And so we want to know who is importing the excavators, who it is going to. We want to be able to put a tracker on it and be able to trace that excavator wherever it is in the country.
Abusuowie no ɔsan to aso bɛkasa fa Cedi no ho sɛ amanfo yɛka sɛ Mahama na Cedi no wo hyɛ da na ɔkye dollar gyina hɔ no ma no a sisi a wɔsen gyan mama dollar no asen kɔgya Cedi no ane wɔhyɛ da ana abusua Mahama se sisi a Cedi no ɛno ankasa ɛba abɛfine the true value Cedi na ankasa ɛba abɛfine its true value wate ase ɛsan sɛ ɔmo baeɛ no na dollar na kwa do 16 Ghana cedis ekoko duro ono mu nyina ne ade ena omo nso bo omo ho moden de ba ya be duro 10 Ghana cedis omo bo omo moden ba sisi ayi no omo ntimi enche dollar no enkofom too much e ba sa e be affect business for no e bi mo omo import no omo export no e be ha omo ati ase ena afi krampo your diasporas di mu wo no ma omo Ghana for omo wa brochi no obi wo no ma oye construction bi o si dan bi o Ghana ha no kwa na o timi ka se oh the dollar no asi aba fom no kan scan no nyan send ma e bi oba be send 10k which is 100 million Ghana cedi old currency no oba be send this kebi sa na o nyan send esan say onimze o send this scan so o mfanye project na scanner nka o imagine yes o send this scanner nka amount na nsa be kan no o nka so who say percentage bi be den e be fi so into dollar ne de o ntimi nsan ma ne o ntimi nsan ma em kofom too much bi ba bi adu na Cedi na nkasa e be konkoden na fi o no nkasa ahwehwe it wahwehwe ni true value abuja tiensema John Germany ekai.
Thank you very much. The first question is about the rise in the value of the cedi. We recognize a very steep appreciation in the value of the cedi in response to the reforms that we were carrying out. And for those of you who listened to me, there was one occasion where I said, people were asking whether it will go below 10. And I said, it is dropping, but it will find its true value. It was undervalued at 16, and it probably is overvalued at 10. But somewhere between there, we have the real value of the cedi. And so I believe that it is about stopping rapid depreciation of the currency. Almost every currency would realize either depreciation or appreciation in the course of a year. But when you have steep depreciation of about, like we had in 2024, 25% depreciation in the currency in the first half of the year, it makes planning difficult. And so, yes, Bank of Ghana has been intervening in the forex market, but they've withdrawn. And what happened was that because of the rapid appreciation in the value of the cedi, we saw an exponential increase in imports, because then people could buy cheaper dollars and so they could import more, which is a natural economic phenomenon. But on the other side, exporters are not happy because they get less cedis for what they export. And so every country tries to find out a balance where exporters are able to do good business and importers are not overburdened by high forex rates. Where that lies, I don't know. I'm not a central bank. But the cedi is making an adjustment, and I believe that it will settle at a certain rate, and we will make sure that any depreciation that occurs in the value of the cedi is within a margin of about 5% per annum. That is what we target. And so for now, there's still speculation. It's also coincided with a period where we saw a reduction of 50% in remittances, because citizens in the diaspora were taken aback by the rapid appreciation of the cedi. And so if somebody was building a house, if he was going to send $100,000, it meant that he was losing a certain percentage of that 100,000. And most of them would decide to adopt a wait and see attitude and say, oh no, as for cedi, it's not possible that the cedi can regain its value to that extent. By all means, it will go up again. So I'll hold back my remittance until the cedi goes back up. So we saw a 50% reduction, but there were also some other factors. There were some money transfer companies that were collecting cedis abroad and not repatriating collecting dollars abroad and not repatriating the dollars. There were other which we're investigating. There were other cases where people applied through the commercial banks for foreign exchange to cover imports, and those monies are transferred to pay for imports, but the imports never came into Ghana. And we've studied a period of 4 years, and over the period of 4 years, about $42 billion was taken out of this country without the corresponding imports coming into the country. And so we started sanctioning some banks, and soon we'll start interrogating some individuals who ostensibly took money out against imports but never brought those imports. We want to know what happened and if there was wrongdoing to sanction whoever it is. While we work to stabilize our economy and improve the value of our currency, we must protect that currency, because a strong cedi is good for all of us. But when that happens, some people try to take advantage of it. And I think that we should all condemn anything like that.
I was always at to also Casafa, Chairman to me, I Chairman to me, case by Emo Casafa, or say, such a own to me charges, no. I contamine for issue now, you could for Ecoyeno. Say, Mahama, I can, or say, charges against Untumi and Akonta mines are ready for filing, while Yoko is finalizing investigations with respect to Exim Bank transaction. And the Mahama can also move so more file case na sa Exim sikasem contract na eko so hono ni na omugu so a omo yehu investigation inti enche bia chairman untumi a ose ono wakoda Yoko office aga okohu nzamanfo hono no enche bia case no ebesia sorry isanze Yoko for omugu so a omo file ehun yoma nyina ave Mahama bi o say to us say sisi e wo say Ghana hanom no say newly regions no Oti region, Savannah region, Bono region, Ahafo region, Bono East, any other 6 regions. Some new regions we yan omo ba be stadia e wo honom. On be see ultra modern stadium e wo all these regions. Afi regions na aka so ba bi a modern stadium eni obia no. On be bo omo modern say on be stadium e dia mo.
With regards to stadia, we promise to build stadia in all the new regions and the regions that don't have modern stadia. So as I speak, the Ministry of Sports and Recreation is doing the design and the costing for the new stadia. And Upper East is one of the regions that has been captured to receive a new sports stadium. That also is under the big push. What we're doing is Takwa Goldfields built a stadium, a standard stadium for their football activities. And I was surprised to learn it cost about $13 million. When government of Ghana has built stadia, it costs hundreds of millions of dollars. But for those of you who have gone to Takwa and see their stadium, it's a standard stadium. And I think it takes about 5,000 or more, or is it 10,000 people? And so if they could build it for 13 million, government too should be able to do same. So we've asked them to find out the architects, the designers, and everybody who did that stadium so that we can replicate it in our other regions that don't have a stadium.
Obusia obi ozai to aso kasai. Osi mo na mo sori ara microphone na sim moni. Ai me na make say IGP ohum se mi so mu a sa kwara makwa Arrèst no se mo nja na mi so mu a ma mo twetwe phone se sim moni me kan se mu ya de kira aban mu mpanimfo ni nyina no sa hatred videos na mo ye ni nyina no they are on to you. Omo demo na se si ai no omanya technology bi o metim ga track your phone no IP address. It's a computer and so on track your IP address. Intin sem hu bia obeka bia no keep them coming. Ebe come maso area. Do the criminal agency no feel sideline under criminal code. Aye, na fi yensa kan ria. Ye track your IP address ni yensa kan ni so mu ria. Obeba be kire se woni ate essence nipa korona or dragging na obeka amagana for yeti.
National Signals Bureau now has the technology to use your IP number and find you wherever you are. So I'm sending a signal to Ghanaians that we can find you those doing those hate speech and things. We'll use your IP number, we'll trace you. And when we trace you, we'll deal with you under the criminal code for inciting violence and disturbance of the peace. But I believe that beyond that, we must start making regulation for this new media because it's unregulated. And so anybody just takes a phone and says, oh, this plane crash, I wish that so and so had been the one in the helicopter and had died, and dwarfs have eaten him in the forest. I mean, why would you say something like that? And so we need regulation for that new emerging media. But in the meantime, the National Signals Bureau has been given the full authority to track down people who do that kind of thing.
Mahama press conference na se wono media bebre wakwa committee media no e the informations bebre e na akwa to mani nsem o kan ni bebre ye ntini fa nyina embre me ye sure say you cry by now most of nsem ni nyina e wo internet nso but yes still na I see ye keka be bom na ye de bre now say e bia na ye wo skip ye no e bia na wo nya ai den e de free ho no ti Mahama akwa committee media no Wezo TV so e na manfo e hwe no amanfo expect say nkecha ai chairman untimi TV ne beba be koba bi na nka amanfo expect say GTV beba be koba bi GTV o muni camera papa o met man no way GTV mo fan channel ati agro na minimuli abusa chewa be comment section o ya no subscribe to AfriPulse TV na feel the bell notification at on say be ya new development new video bi ano ubenya na wo hu ni ayekoso e wo media na so stay safe out there and see you again very soon.